Well, hello everybody. I hope people join me this evening for this little surprise chat party for autumn. I just thought I'd go live and see if anybody showed up. It's too hot to do anything outside, especially after being out there yesterday. It was 97 yesterday. It's 97 out there today. Hopefully it will cool off a little bit next week and I might be able to get a little bit done in the yard. But anyway, this is Saturday afternoon, Saturday. Yeah, it's about dinner time Saturday, so I figured I'd get on here and just see what everybody's doing, kind of bring in the autumn season together. It's not quite Halloween yet, but it is autumn. And I got my autumn decorations up behind me. There's Connie and Shatika. Hello, ladies. How are you ladies doing? Yeah, I hadn't planned on doing this. I just thought at the last minute I'd go live because it was too hot to do anything outside. It's still 93 degrees here at 5:30 almost. So there's Ashley. Hi, Ashley. How's Ashley doing? Y'all like my pumpkin? I bought it yesterday and I've had the scarecrow boy for a long time. I usually put him in the window, but I decided I'd use him on this backdrop for today with my pumpkin. Yep, fall is here. Fall, autumn is in September, and that's kind of the transition between summer and fall. So the month of September is actually our autumn time. Starting October, it's going to be considered fall, and then winter time. Thank you. You love my little boy. I've had him for so many years, it's ridiculous. I put him up in the closet, when the season's over every year, so I'll have him for next year. And he's just the right size to go in my end window for decorations, for the window. But I stopped by Brookshire's yesterday to pick up just a red onion, and I come out with a great big old pumpkin. Cute pumpkin and scarecrow. Thank you. I thought he was cute. They got bigger ones at Walmart now, but I like him because he's small enough that I can put him in the end window facing the street as my fall and Halloween decorations, for the year. Can't get that pumpkin in there, but I've got a pumpkin almost that size that's plastic and it's got the eyes and nose and mouth cut out and it's got a light in it. And I put that in the window with the boy every year. So I haven't put him up there yet. I basically put them up there for Halloween because it's a Halloween pumpkin. And I've had that pumpkin for many, many years. And it's real easy because all you put in it is a little night light or sewing machine light, the little bulbs, the little tiny ones. And you can get those at any store that sells, you know, electric bulbs. Yeah, it was 97 here yesterday and 97 today. I'm not sure, but Cody and his wife were here yesterday helping me cut trees, and you'll see that video. I'll probably post it maybe tomorrow, Monday. Um, she was telling me that we're supposed to get a little bit cooler weather next week. I don't know. I haven't checked the forecast yet, but I'm getting ready to check it right now. See what they say. Because I've still got that raised bed greenhouse. I haven't gotten dirt or anything in it yet. I've been so busy, I haven't gotten around to it. Yeah, I thought this might be a nice way to spend Saturday evening, chatting with my ladies and my gentlemen. And there's Jackie M. Hi, Jackie. 78 there, but going going up this week. Yeah. It was wonderful here when it was in the 80s, and now it was back up in the 97s. So, and there's Gladys. Hi, Gladys. We always miss you, Gladys. We get the forecast. Yeah, after getting so hot out there yesterday, I just didn't even want to do anything in the yard today. I was just wiped out. Yeah, it's going to be back in the 80s. It's going to be 94 tomorrow is for a high. And then Monday, it's going to be 81, Tuesday, 84, Wednesday, 85, Thursday, 86, Friday, 85. So it's going to be basically in the mid to high 80s all next week, which is going to be wonderful. And if we happen to get a little rain in that, that's going to be great too. We got 30 and 40% chance of rain Monday, and we got a 40% chance of rain on Tuesday. So hopefully we'll get a little bit of rain and my garden will be happy. If we get a little bit of rain and it's in the 80s, my garden is going to just jump for joy. It's going to grow like crazy. And I won't mind getting out there working in the yard, it's not so hot. If I can get out there first thing in the morning before it heats up, I can get a few things done. But if I wait till it gets real hot in the afternoon, forget it. I'm wiped out. I can only spend a few minutes at a time out there, and then I got to come in and cool off. So, what are you ladies doing for your autumn decorations or your fall decorations? I usually get into autumn first, and then I get into Halloween later. And then I go from Halloween to Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving to Christmas. I try to enjoy my 4 seasons. Well, thank you. This top is, oh my goodness, I got it years ago. It's one of those scrunchy things that one size is supposed to fit all. I've got several of them. I bought them years ago when they were so popular out here. You could get them for like $5 a piece. And I said, well, they're great little shirts to wear. They're comfortable. Oh, and Ashley says she's got another moonflower bloom. Well, good. I got black construction paper, bats, and spiders all over. Well, sometimes I decorate my porch and put a skeleton head on the light, and I put ghosts and goblins and stuff around the porch. I don't know if I'm going to do that this year. I may just decorate the end window that faces the street and have my pumpkin sitting on the table out there and let it go at that. I usually put my big pumpkin out on the table at the end of the patio that's right at the carport so you can see it from the street. Sometimes I've bought 3 and 4 pumpkins of different sizes and I set them around the rock garden out there and drew, like jack-o'-lantern faces on them and stuff for Halloween. I put them out there without drawing anything on them for autumn until, Halloween, October. And then I draw little faces on them for Halloween. It's an easy decoration. And then you can always use a lot of your pumpkin to make puree to make your pumpkin pies. And then the puree that you don't use, you can always put in the freezer. I've got a package in the freezer right now from last year I need to take out. Make me a pumpkin pie with it. Yeah, you get too hot out there in that heat, it just wipes you out. All the next day, I just have no energy. I don't want to do anything. And that's basically what I've done today is nothing. I fed the cats and that's about it. I made me some coffee and that was about it. And there's Ann Watson. Oh my goodness, I am so happy to see you, Ann. How are you since your surgery on the 12th? We've all just wondered about you. I sent you messages and we were all praying for you. We were hoping you did okay with that last surgery. I can't believe that's a big surprise when I looked up there just a minute ago and I saw Ann's name pop up in chat. I'd like to see that spider you said your daughter put up. Looks like he's climbing the tree. Yeah, I kind of go all out for Christmas, but for Halloween and autumn and Thanksgiving, I don't do a whole lot. I mean, I put out some stuff, but I don't go, I'm not extravagant with that like I am Christmas. Last year I had Christmas trees all over the yard lit up, have colored water, skeleton hands and feet in jars with colored water. I bet that's neat. Everybody say hello to Ann. Ann Watson's here in our chat today. Everybody's been asking about Ann. She's with us today. So, what have y'all been doing today? Other than some of you may be putting up your decorations. I don't know. See, you never know when you have a pop up live who's going to pop into the live chat. What's it been, about a week since she had her surgery on the 12th? And we were all just wondering, how you were. Had pizza early. That sounds good. You have a solar spotlight to backlight the jars and make it spooky. Oh, I had surgery on the 12th, but still can't hold my head up. I'm so disappointed. The bad surgeon messed up my spine. It crumbles when touched. I'm not not sure what the next step is. I am so sorry to hear all that, Ann. I was hoping that last surgery would just take care of your problems and you'd be better. It sounds like maybe you've got weak bones. Yes, Linda, pop up was a surprise. Yeah, I was hoping it would surprise everybody because I didn't plan it. But I got my pumpkin and I wanted to show my pumpkin off. It's a big one. He's heavy too. I was afraid I was going to drop it coming in the door with it because I had it out on the patio table. That light does not do my boy any good. You can't see his face very well. I have to wear a brace. My bone scan was normal. That's odd. How they could cause all that damage from surgery. It's beyond me. I don't know. Susan may be taking a nap because she didn't know anything about the live, and she may be taking a nap or she may be out. I don't know where she is. I don't know if she's home or not. She may not be, so she can get into live. Or like I said, she could be taking a nap and doesn't even know we've got a live right now. Well, amen for one thing. At least, Anne, at least your bone scan was normal. So that's one good thing. That is so strange. I've never heard of that happening, Anne. Wow. I know there's a lot of people out there, and I know two people personally that had the disease, but I don't know what it was called, where their bones were like that. They just crumbled. I mean, sometimes they could get up to walk and their leg would break, or they could go to pick something up and their wrist would break, or like my grandmother when she was older, she was bedridden. They just turned her over in the bed and her bones would break. Yeah, I'm hoping since your bone scan was normal that they can take care of this problem. So eventually you'll be okay and not have to deal with this anymore. Oh, and you know what? I forgot to post the link. So if anybody wanted to get on screen with me, they are welcome to. But I'm posting it now. So you're welcome to get on screen with me if you'd like. Oh, you couldn't? Well, it wasn't my property, it was my friend's. You know, the picture I sent to you one time where her house was like the water was up to the porch and her house is up on stilts. Well, they posted another picture on Facebook and I tried to copy it and paste it into the chat or into the message so you could see them. The water had went down enough that they could drive their truck into the house, but they were driving, it looked like a whole lake. Everything was covered in water, several feet of water still. I'll try it again. I don't know why it didn't. It wouldn't let me post the pictures or the video. I had to copy the link and then just post it in the chat, but I mean in the message. And I don't know why it changed. It did what it did. I think when I sent it to my son, it would open it, but it showed a previous video. It didn't show the one I was trying to put in there. And there's Grandma Teresa. Hi, Grandma. How's Grandma Teresa doing? Oh, let me pin this to the top. There, I just pin the link to get into chat. I mean, to get in on screen at the top of the live chat box. So if anybody wants to get up here with me and chat, you're welcome to do that. I know it was devastating. And could you imagine you're sending your kids to school that morning and everything being flooded to the point you could not even get to the school to get your kids and they're letting the kids out early? I mean, that was just insane. Had beans, taters, and cornbread. That sounds good. Here's one my brother just posted. I don't know how plain you can see it. Look at all the water. I mean, it's gone down a lot. At least you can see the pavement on the road. Before, the whole road was covered. But I was trying to show the one. Let me see if I can bring her. Car going right through the water. And that's better than it has been.
Someone who struggles with fear, they don't want drivers knowing.
Well, how did it jump over to this other deal? But if you have Facebook, if you're any of my friends, you can go to Facebook and it shows all these flooding pictures of back home. I can't bring up the ones I wanted to now. I'd be afraid to drive my vehicle. This is at one of the beaches. See the car going through the water in the street? I mean, that's terrible. And that's the waters went down several feet from what it was. Before you couldn't even drive the car through there like that. I wanted to find the picture. Well, let me get this thing from the beginning. Oh man. If I could get it turned the other way. No, come on. I want you to go back to the beginning. Why does it not cooperate? That barge ran into the bridge and watch it flip around. That barge just rammed that bridge and turned sideways and basically turned upside down. North Carolina is where it's at, Grandma Teresa, where I'm from. All around the beaches, Southport, Oak Island. I think just about every one of the beaches were flooded. So wondered it probably took out the bridge. They probably have to close the bridge after that thing hitting it, because I'm sure the bridge is not trustworthy to cross. You have shrimp in the freezer, Grandma? Well, you need to try it. They're pretty good. And there's Janet Jacob from Myrtle Beach. Hello. That thing's gonna flip over in a minute. Diana Hinkle's in the house. Hello, Diana. Jackie M. Wilson's here. Hello, Wilson. I wouldn't want to be out there driving because I'd be afraid I'd hit a hole and my car'd be gone. Me and my car. I still haven't come across the one I wanted to show you. Look at this place. The whole city's flooded. That's the streets, y'all. The sidewalks and streets completely covered in water. Still haven't come across the picture I wanted to show you. Is this couple that have a house? It's up on stilts like a beach house. And they did it that way because it isn't a flood area. So about once a year, they do get flooded in their yard. Even Canada's flooded. Look at this at the one of the beaches. The tide, the water come in with the waves so hard, it crashed right under their tables and chairs where they're sitting. Could you imagine? They're sitting there at a restaurant. Oh my gosh. And the waves come crashing in right on them. You know they didn't expect that. There's one of the homes right at the beach in North Carolina. Watch the water. It's going to literally float that beach house right off the beach. I hope you can see that clear. I mean, could you imagine those people's thoughts? I hope they're not in that house. I hope they left. I mean, there's no telling where that house is going to end up. It'll be out in the ocean. Yeah, water is very powerful. And with the waves crashing in like that, there's no telling where that house is going to end up when the water level goes down. I mean, that's crazy. But that's the kind of stuff you put up with when you got beachfront, waterfront property, that is. Here's North Carolina Beach in North Carolina. That's about 30 minutes from where my hometown is. That's the beach, y'all. Carolina Beach. Totally flooded. The water in the shops. That's about 30 minutes from my hometown. I would not want to be living at the beach right now. It's terrible. I mean, look at this. Can't even get into your steps without getting hit with a wave. I tell you. I mean, China's flooded, Canada's flooded, a lot of places, not just the coast of North Carolina. There's another video of North Carolina at the beach. I said, I know my property back there probably looks like a lake. Look at that. It's almost waist deep. They're walking through the water. Look at that. The water's all right up to the top of the door. I would not want to be walking in that water. No telling what's in it. See, there's the way they build the houses at the beach up on stilts because of the waves coming in when it floods. And that's the way my friend back home, they live close to the river, and their house is built up on stilts like that. And when it floods, it comes right up to the floor, the top of those poles, right up to the bottom of the floor of that house is how deep the water is. They look like they're living right in the middle of a lake. They have to use a boat to get back and forth to their house. Even with the house up on stilts, it would terrify me to have water underneath my house. Get to Wilmington, it would take 2 hours right now from, yeah, a lot of the roads are closed. You couldn't get in or out of Southport for days because the roads were closed. I don't know if they've ever opened them or not. Yeah, Facebook is just bombarded with flood videos of North Carolina coast. That's about all you see on Facebook. That's all I've seen on Facebook for days. I mean, I don't know what the poor people are going to do back there. I really don't. Look at that. Well, you'll have to see it when the guy comes back up with his guitar. He's telling everybody to turn around. Turn around, don't drown. Because you can't get past the water. It's too deep. And there's Holden Beach, one part of the highway. The water's running over the road so hard you can't pass it. It's not safe to even try. Now Holden's Beach, they have a Holden Beach on Oak Island where I lived. So several of the roads flooded. There's high tide. Those beach homes are sitting in water for high tide. They're out in the water. But that's why they put them up on stilts because they know sooner or later the tide's going to be under the house. I don't know if I could handle that. I'd be scared to death. I'd go to sleep at night and my house would be washed out in the middle of the ocean while I was asleep. This is crazy. Watch this guy. I would not do that. I'd be afraid I'd flip my Jeep over. That's concrete he's hovering over. His wheel just dropped off the concrete. Crazy people. Yeah, tomorrow's the first day of autumn. That's one reason I wanted to put my autumn decorations up in my video. I'll have them up for tomorrow too. I know it was 97 here today, Lance. There's the Outer Banks of North Carolina through one of the beaches. Shows the houses literally sitting in the ocean. It's high tide. I could not do that. Oh, that would terrify me. One of the oceanfront houses collapsed here, and that would be my luck. The waves would come in so strong and the water'd be so deep, my house would collapse. And that's what happened to this one. It collapsed. So they got a crane in there trying to get out the debris from the house collapsing. See, so it's not all fun and games to live in a beach area. It's a beautiful place to live, but there's all kind of hazards you got to deal with if you live there. Who wants a jar of pig's feet? I don't, Wilson. My dad would say, yeah, I want them, but not me. Brunswick County's all flooded. That's the area where I lived before I came to Texas. I lived on Oak Island. It's part of Brunswick County. Everything's flooded. I know, so much water. We need some of it out here, but I don't want to have a flood. That was the highway I just showed you. See, I mean, the cars at one end, they don't know whether to try to drive through it or not. I wouldn't. I would not risk it. That is the actual highway that's covered in water, that whole length. It looks like a river, doesn't it? That is the actual highway, flooded. I mean, it just goes on and on. It's not one little spot that's flooded, it's basically almost the whole highway. I've never been able to bring myself to even put a pig's foot in my mouth, Diana. My dad loved them. He eat them like crazy, but I've never even tried them. Yeah, I mean, everything back home is flooded. There's Town Creek and Highway 17. I mean, It's devastating. Look at that bridge washing out just from the force of the water and the debris floating in the water. I'll see if I can find it. I can probably, well, I can't bring your chat up. Let me see if I can go to Tanya's post and maybe I can find it there. She lives in Curry, North Carolina, and that's halfway before between where I lived with my first husband and my hometown, which is about 10 miles on each side of where this lady lives. Let me find her post. Here's the one I tried to send you. They're driving the truck. The water went down enough that they were able to drive the truck up to their house. But look where their shed and everything is at. They got to go real slow or they'll drown the truck out. But see their house on the left up there? It's up on stilts. Could you imagine? And they don't leave, they stay right there. They keep a boat handy because they're always needing a boat to get, they have to park their vehicles way away from the house where it doesn't flood. And then they have to go by boat to the house and to the vehicles back and forth. But see their house to the left there, it's up on stilts. It was all the way up almost to the floor of that house. That's how deep the water was. Let's see if I can find some more of the ones I sent to Connie. They were always posting stuff, but they have a lot of posts, so yeah, that's about 15 minutes from my hometown where that flooding was. Well, I can't find the post. Well, I know my brother posted some. Let me see if I can find his because he posted some. Okay, where are they? Well, I can't find them now, Connie. And I can't get to Messenger because I'm filming with that my other phone. Somebody put out a funny one where the guy shows he's under completely underwater. The only thing is above water is his wrist and his hands, and he says we are okay in North Carolina. That's funny. We're underwater, but we're okay. You decorated the courtyards for the patients when I worked at the hospital, and it cheered. I imagine that did cheer them up. Thank you, Patty C. Yeah, I decided to put it up today. There's one of the pictures showing the highway is flooded. Doesn't come through too good, but this is the one where it was collapsed. I finally found it. If I can get it to come through on the thing real well. Well, did it stop? It's not showing it very good. That's US 17. It's nothing but a lake. That's the highway, y'all. Can barely see the yellow line going down through it. Wish I could get it so the glare wouldn't be on there. I'm still not finding the one that I sent Connie. I don't know where it is. I don't know how good that's coming through. That fool's driving down the flooded road. Some people think they're indispensable, that they can just do anything. I mean, that whole road is flooded and he's driving through it. Crazy people. I mean, the water's rushing across the highway. Oh, this is where I live now, Oak Island. Look at that. It's completely flooded. Let me see if I can get it to. I don't know if it'll flip over this way. Well, it's not any better to go horizontal with it than it was before. But that's Oak Island. That sign right there says Oak Island. And it's all flooded. That's where I lived just before I came to Texas. I'm sorry, it's not showing it very clear. And I don't know how to get it to the right angle for you to see it. But everything is flooded. That's all water you're looking at. That picture's of Carolina Beach. It's all flooded. All the beaches are. Well, that's enough of that. I'm tired of looking flooding pictures. They got a lot of work to do, a lot of cleanup after that water's gone, that's for sure. Yeah, they must have the vehicles that they're driving through that must have be able to handle the high water because my car probably would have been cut off a long time ago. I wouldn't have made it through there. Who wants fried chicken feet? Hey, I'll take a chicken leg. I don't think I want the foot. I lived in Oak Island, Diana. It's a 13-mile long island, about 5 minutes from Southport, North Carolina. And Southport was completely flooded too. They had all the roads going in or out of Southport closed. You couldn't get in or out. I don't know. I mean, I asked my brothers how they were doing in my hometown, Atkinson, and they said they were fine, but they didn't really have, they got a lot of rain, but they really didn't have any flooding there. They're like 20 some miles inland. So I guess that 20 miles made a lot of difference. I know it took us about an hour to drive from Oak Island to my hometown, Atkinson. We had to go by Wilmington and that area and then come on through down 421 to get to my hometown. And it was an hour's drive from the island to my hometown where I'm from. I know that. Look how many people. I mean, it's all the beaches, all those surrounding towns, everywhere along the coast. It's terrible. I don't know. Must be, Grandma. It might be the curse of Oak Island. I don't know. But I feel bad because, like I came across one where they said they sent the kids to school that morning and the parents were questioning whether they should even send the kids because it was supposed to flood. They knew it was from the heavy rain coming in. And the school district decided they were going to have school. So they got the kids all at the school. After they got the kids in the school, everything flooded. And then the parents couldn't even get to the school to get their kids because you couldn't travel on the street, the highway. Yeah, Newfoundland, yeah. Well, Oak Island, North Carolina may have a curse too. I don't know. I've never heard of one. Yeah, I imagine there's areas around Wilmington that flooded. I haven't found any pictures of flooding in Wilmington, so but they're right there on the coast, so Wilmington is a port city, so I'm sure they got some flooding too. And there's Donna. Hi, Donna. How is Donna doing today? You just know the show. I could eat some cracklings right now. That sounds pretty good, Wilson. Fresh fried cracklings. Oh my God, that would be so good. I don't need any, but that would sure be good. Yeah, I watched it too. But when I first started seeing all of those videos of the flooding for Brunswick County, that's where my son was born, in Brunswick County in Wilmington. That's part of Brunswick County. And because we lived out on Oak Island and we went into Wilmington to the hospital where he was born, which is not that far away, maybe about a 20-minute drive. But when I saw all that flooding all around the area, thought to myself, oh my God, I know Atkinson flooded one time because I remember it. It was up to the top of the porch one year when I think it was Hazel came through. But by the next day, the water was gone. But it was knee deep in the yard. My dad come across, we had cross ties for a little bridge, you know. Everybody has ditches to drain their yard back home. So dad had put cross ties over it, you know, as a little bridge. And the next morning when we looked out and the water had got, you know, went away, those we had no bridge across the ditch. The cross ties had washed up and they were laying the opposite direction. So my dad had to fix the little bridge back across the ditch to get into the driveway. But our house is like 2 foot up off the ground before you actually have the floor. And then we had a porch that was about 6 inches below the front door. And the water was covering that little concrete porch patio thing because you had 2 steps going up to it. And the water was like that deep over the top of that concrete patio, little porch. Because we had to walk from the car to get to the porch to get in the front door. And it was over knee deep on me since I was just, you know, little. But I know it was every bit of knee deep to my dad. Oh my God. Could you imagine the snakes and the mosquitoes, the bugs, the spiders, everything that's washed up into the trees to get out of the water? Grandma Teresa, I do too. I think there's a treasure in the swamp and one in the money pit. I watched some movie. I guess it was that one, or I watched a documentary where these guys were digging for treasure on Oak Island, but it was not the Oak Island, North Carolina. It must have been Newfoundland, where there was supposed to be pirate treasure buried, and they were out there excavating and trying to dig it up to find where it was. I don't think they ever did find it. It's still 93 degrees here, y'all. It's only cooled off 4 degrees since mid afternoon. And we'll still have our live tomorrow. Don't y'all forget, we still got a live tomorrow. I'm still gonna have that one. Yeah, it was a high 97 today, but it's supposed to be in like the mid 80s next week, so that's going to be real good with a chance of rain. I think it was Tuesday and Wednesday. So if we get a little bit of rain and the temperatures cool off, my garden is going to love it. Because those few days this past week that it was in the 80s, my garden had a growth spurt. I mean, my big old kale leaves were getting huge, and now they're kind of flopped over from the heat. But they're going to be beautiful next week if it gets down in the 80s. I'm sure there's a lot of places that FEMA, everybody, they'll be sending aid if they haven't already to the coastline. And I'm sure a lot of the people along the beachfront did evacuate. before it flooded so bad. Or at the first signs of flooding, they probably evacuated. But where did they go? That's a lot of people to go somewhere, motels, hotels, wherever they can find a place to stay. Well, let's talk about Newfoundland and the Titan explosion implosion. I don't know anything about that. You'll have to fill us in, Jana. I was so lazy I didn't even cook today. I didn't heat any. I opened a can of chili beans, y'all, and that's all I've eaten today. I didn't eat any breakfast. All I did was empty that into a bowl, chop me up some onion in it, put a dab of cheese in there, and put it in the microwave. And that was my lunch today. Yeah, what is the Titan implosion? I don't know about that. Tell us, fill us in, Jana. Nobody wants to get up on screen with me? I thought somebody would get up there. You went to the deli and got ham salad, but that's okay. And Donna had cottage cheese and pineapple. That sounds good. I haven't had cottage cheese and pineapple in a long time. What is this about the Titan implosion? Y'all fill me in because I'm lost. I don't know anything about it. Ooh, I'm starting to yawn. I've never heard of it either, Donna. Seagate implosion going down to the Titanic. Seemed like I heard something about that. I don't remember when it took place. I guess it's not meant for them to actually get to the Titanic. I don't know. See, I haven't been watching the news, and I should be watching the news more than what I do. Last June, yeah. So evidently, it's just not meant to be for them to go down and start plundering around the Titanic under the ocean. They need to leave dead souls alone. Who wants pork neck bones and rice and red gravy? Wilson, you're going to have everybody hungry. I almost bought me a already made pot pie at Brookshire's Deli yesterday when I went in there and got that pumpkin. I walked by that little counter where they have like barbecued ribs and fried chicken and fried fish and stuff like that. And they had two chicken pot pies. I mean, like family size ones. They weren't as big as a regular pie, but they were about this big around and about that deep. And they were like $5 and something for one pie. I almost got that pie. It looks so good because I haven't had chicken pot pie in forever. Who is this? Messist Maestro Megatron says, "Would you sacrifice your dog for karate?" That doesn't even make sense. Gladys wants some, Wilson. Looks like we got a new subscriber. I don't think I've seen their name in chat before. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Gladys. Just keep an eye on them. Yeah, why would you want to sacrifice your dog for karate? That doesn't make sense. Grab a plate. Now he's saying he shot his fish today. Yeah, I know. They were going down to the Titanic and it exploded. Behave yourself, Maestro. Nope, not a good person at all. Here he comes again. Would you sacrifice your dog for karate? Would you? Hi, Darlene. Welcome to our chat. Happy autumn. You know, first day of autumn is tomorrow. No, it's not acceptable, Jackie. How's Darlene doing today? Whew, my straw is jammed up in the ice in my tea. There you go, Connie. Well, good. Yeah, I think Connie took the troll out. Yeah, I'm fortunate. You know, I live here on this mountain, Rock Mountain. I mean, and I thought for many years that it was a really bad, desolate place because I couldn't grow much of anything in the yard unless you could water it 2 or 3 times a day. But you know what? When it comes to seeing all the flooding on along the coast, all the flooding even here in Texas around me, in like Fort Worth, Dallas, even here sometimes. And I'm fortunate that I live on this rock mountain because I'm never flooded, you know, because they have nothing else to do, Jana. That's why some people are rude. They have nothing better to do than to go around to people's lives and get in here and say ugly stuff. Thank you, Anne. It's not new. I've had it for so many years. I used to wear it all the time when I was subbing at schools. Usually I keep my clothes as long as I can wear them. I keep them because your clothes last a long time before they'll wear out. Exactly. A lot of kids did not grow up respecting anybody today, not even themselves. Nope, they weren't taught respect. That's the problem with our society today. Kids were not taught anything growing up. Their parents were too busy working, paying bills because it took both parents to keep bills paid. Unfortunately, it's not like it was many years ago when the mom always stayed home with the kids. The dad was the one went out to work, or if you lived on the farm, the whole family worked. The kids didn't have time to get out there and get in trouble, and they were definitely taught respect, something they don't even know what it is today to respect anybody. Yeah, and I guess I shouldn't say that way because there's a lot of good people out there. There's a lot of good kids. I don't mean all kids are bad. It's just there's a lot of them that just weren't taught what they should have been taught growing up. Oh, we didn't even have to get whipped by my dad. It was just his tone of voice and him threatening us with the belt. We stayed in line. We didn't want the belt. And I don't really know if he'd ever used it on us or not, but he never had to. All he had to do was take that belt off and pop it a couple of times and like, you want to talk to the belt? Like, no, I don't want nothing to do with your belt. I know that's the way it was when I was growing up, Connie. I mean, I got my mouth washed out with a soap bar, and it wasn't even me saying the ugly words. It was my brothers in the other bedroom, and my mom was in the kitchen, and she was way down the hall from the bedrooms, and they were in their room having a pillow fight, mouthing off four-letter words, and my mom thought I was the one saying it because she come down the hall. Who said that? Who said that? And my brother said, Sissy did, Sissy did. Oh my God. My mom come in there and got me by the arm. She took me to the bathroom, took a bar of soap and just scrubbed it across my mouth, scrubbed it across my teeth. I tasted soap for a month. And I was not the one that was saying any of those words, but my brothers blamed me for it. Yeah, back then the wages were good. That one earner was enough. Yeah, exactly. Nowadays everything is so more expensive. The wages haven't went up to accommodate the price increase, and it takes both parents to work, bringing home paychecks to pay the bills. And for one reason, a lot of people try to live above themselves. They want this big fancy $400,000 or $500,000 home to live in. They want the fancy cars. So therefore they give up their kids' upbringing and attention they should be given to their kids to go to work to pay for all of it. I didn't do that. I lived in this mobile home and I was home with my kids until I was divorced. And then I had to go to work. But then back then, my kids by then were in school. So usually I was home at night with my kids. I was home on the weekend with my kids, unless I had to work on the weekend or something. But I stayed home with my kids when they were growing up. Yeah, and it's crazy. I mean, I'd rather live in a less expensive house, drive a less expensive car, and not have to work myself to death to pay for everything just to keep up with everybody else. I mean, it's insane, but that's the way the world is today. Janice said mine too with soap. Yeah, you know how when they scrub that bar of soap across your teeth, how it gets down in between your teeth? You can brush your teeth out forever and you still taste that soap. I told my mom about that years later. I said, Mom, you remember the time that it was Donnie and Billy in the bedroom playing, having a pillow fight, and I was in my bedroom at the end of the hall? And I said they were saying some ugly words, and you hollered down the hall wanting to know who said that. And they said, Sissy said it, Sissy said it. And I said, you come down there and got me and took me to the bathroom right there in the hallway and scrubbed that bar of soap across my teeth. And I told her, and I said, I didn't even say those words. I said, they blamed me for it. They were the ones that were saying it during their pillow fight. There you go, Grandma Teresa. Yeah. Yeah, but that was just it. It might have worked on me, but I didn't say the words to begin with. My brothers said them, and they told my mom that I did. And I tried to tell her that it wasn't me, but she didn't believe me. That was two against one. Both of them said it was Sissy. So she believed them. I mean, I ran into so many parents when I was when my kids were still living at home and they were in ball games. My son played baseball. He played football at one time. My daughter was in the band. She played soccer. She played baseball, softball. And I was taking them to all their different games and their practices, which kept me busy. And I didn't mind it. I stayed there with them. But I ran into so many kids that their parents didn't have the time to do that. And I'd go make my rounds and pick up all these other kids and take them to the games with my kids because their parents didn't have time. They were either out partying or they were working. Most of the time out partying after they got home from work. My kids came first to me, so that was my mom. She would have got all of you. Yeah, you would have thought my mom would have at least believed partly of what I said. It wasn't me that said any of those words. I was in my own room behaving myself. I wasn't even jumping on my bed. They were in there jumping on their bed and having a pillow fight and just mouthing off words to one another. And then they told my mom I'm the one that said all that, and I didn't. Yeah, if she was going to scrub my mouth with soap, she should have done theirs too, just in case that I was telling her the truth. Remember hot sauce? No, I don't remember that. What about the hot sauce? What did she say when you reminded? Oh, she said I don't really remember that. I do. I told her I'd never forget it. And I'm sure my brothers remembered it too, whether they wanted to admit it or not. When I said no once to doing dishes, I got a bloody mouth. Oh no. Your dad would spank you and then bring you a piece of pie. Well, I'm allergic to a lot of the soap too. I may have been allergic to that soap. I don't know. But I sure ate my share of that bar of soap that day. Oh, y'all keep talking about chicken pot pies, and I'm gonna go run out to Brookshire's and see if those pies are still there, and I'm gonna get me one. I love chicken pot pie, and I have not had one forever. It's been so long. I'm gonna have to make a trip to the store and see if those pot pies are still sitting there. I like the beef pot pies, but I'd rather have the chicken. Chicken or turkey. Chicken is the favorite one. I used to buy those little individual chicken pot pies all the time, and I'd put them in the oven and cook them. Mom used soap or hot sauce in my mouth. No, my parents never put hot sauce in my mouth, but my mom sure used that bar of soap. That's correct. What way you get them all instead of choosing which one is the way you get the right one exactly. They should have got the soap too, not just me. I never got a spanking growing up. I don't know that my brothers ever got spanked at all. Like I said, my dad was in the Navy, and the way he would tell you not to do something, and he'd pull that belt out like he was going to use it, he didn't have to ever use it. You behaved yourself. You did what my dad said. Yeah, my dad told you in a way that you didn't want to test him. You didn't want to find out if he was going to use that belt or not. But he never did. I only spanked my kids one time each. And I spanked my little girl when she wouldn't listen to me. She took her tricycle out on the highway in front of our house because she wanted to ride her tricycle, and our driveway was real sandy. And she knew if she got it on the pavement, she could ride it real well. But 18 wheelers travel that highway. And we lived on a curve. And, they wouldn't be able to see her out there with that little tricycle if they come around that curve in time to stop. And I was always scared to death that she'd get out there and get hit by a car. And I spanked her little butt. I mean, not real hard, but I did spank her butt and made her come back in the yard with the tricycle. That's the only time I've ever spanked her, though. And my son, I spanked him one time. I think I popped his butt once with my hand. He was doing something and he wouldn't listen. And it broke my heart because he turned around and he kind of puckered up and he looked up at me. He said, "It didn't hurt, Mama. It didn't hurt." I just had to hug him after that. It just broke my heart that he said, he just looked up and the little tears was in his eyes because it hurt his feelings, not his, it didn't hurt his butt. I didn't hit him that hard, but it hurt his feelings that Mama was going to spank him. So all you could do was just give him a hug. But that's the only time either one of my children ever got spanked, if you could call it a spanking. And with my daughter, it was because I was afraid of her life, you know. I didn't want her out there in that highway and get hit by an 18 wheeler or some car coming around that curve. And for the life of me, I try to think of what it was my son did, and I can't even remember. Connie, they weren't Daisy Dukes, were they, Connie? So that time I thought I was going out in short shorts. The shorts ended up in the fireplace, and I couldn't sit down for a week. I never wore shorts that short. I mean, I had short shorts, but they had a little hem at the bottom of them and stuff. They weren't what I call Daisy Dukes. I never wore Daisy Dukes. I mean, I've got cutoff shorts now, but they're not extremely short. You know, they're just short shorts. Connie says I deserved every time I got it from my grandfather, and my mom and my dad would punch you in the face for eating spaghetti at 7. What? Why would they do that if you for eating spaghetti? That doesn't make sense. Worse than Daisy Dukes. Well, no wonder they ended up in the fireplace. Yeah. My kids, I have to admit, were well behaved kids. You know, I didn't have to get on them much, but it scared me to death when I realized my daughter was out just trucking down the highway around that curve on her tricycle. She wasn't even hardly 4 years old yet. Scared me to death. I went running out there and I got her, and I got her by her little tricycle, and I spanked her butt, and I told her, "Don't you ever go back out there," because I was scared to death she was going to get hit. Sounds like he was evil, Connie. I love my kids. I mean, I tried to teach them right and wrong and bring them up right, and I think I did. They turned out pretty decent. But I was never mean to my kids. I never beat my kids, so to speak. You know, a little pat on the butt, a spanking, a light spanking is a lot different than beating your kids, you know. And like I said, each one I did that one time each, and it broke my heart so bad. I said, "Well, you know, I love you to death, and that's why I spanked you, but I can't even bring myself to spank you anymore because it hurt my kids' feeling more than it did anything else when Mama spanked them." Because, like I said, for them, they were good kids, you know. And my daughter was not trying to do anything bad when she took her tricycle out there. She just wanted to ride her tricycle. She just didn't realize the danger of being out there. She said, "Mama, I can ride fast out there." Oh, I remember all those times with my kids when they were little. Yep, Diana, you make it through with the Lord in your heart. He was a truck driver and he went away. He had 6 wives and 8 other children with other women. My mom became friends with all of them. So we got to know and love our brothers and sisters. My mom is a wonderful person. Sounds like it. I can't imagine having 6 wives and 8 kids with 6 other women. Wow. That's unbelievable. He belong I'm getting tongue tied. He belongs in one of those communes with what are those people that the guys have multiple wives? What do they call that? I can't think of the name of it. Where it's nothing them for them to live in a community where all the wives know one another and they like have appointments with the husband. Each one has a certain night they spend with the husband. I can't imagine living like that. Sister wives, yeah. But there's still people that live that way. They live out, where is it, in Arizona or somewhere, Oklahoma, where they live way out far away from everybody, where the guys have like 8 wives, and each wife has kids by the one guy. And they all live in one little community there all together. I don't know if I could handle being like that. I really don't. And I can't imagine the man having that many wives and that many kids, and because they're not going to get along all the time. And could you imagine having arguments with half your wives at one time? That would be something else. Yeah, Connie had a lot to deal with, sounds like, growing up. I was fortunate. I had good parents. I came from a pretty decent family that took care of their kids. I ordered some a case of cat food for the cats because I gave them their last can of cat food yesterday, and I actually opened a can of tuna fish and gave it to them this morning with their dry food. So I was hoping I'd get that case of cat food, tonight or this evening, so I could give them another can. Because each one of them gets a half a can when I open one. That's about all they can eat at one time. Grandma, when I was young, I wasn't okay. I cleaned house for people to afford a counselor, psychiatrist. She helped me till she died at the age of 98. Wow, she lived a long time. Oh, my nose. Oh, what did you order from Timu, Grandma Teresa? Something pretty? 4 nice tops. Oh, I bet they are. What kind of patterns were on them or design were they? I like the Southwestern style that they have. You could get addicted to Timu. You have to make yourself stop. Me too. Well, I first started ordering the shade cloths from them because I could get the size shade cloths I needed pretty reasonable. But then when you start looking at all the other stuff and, well, I need something like that, or I need this, or I need that, and then you get hooked. You got hit with that switch and it burnt like fire, Wilson. Oh, wow. Mormons, that's what they are, Mormons. Yeah, I can't imagine one guy having that many wives and that many kids. And they live right there together, you know. Sometimes if they get a big enough house, they all live in the same house. They just have different bedrooms and they share in the household duties and the cooking and the laundry and everything else. I cannot imagine living like that. Hooked on hair curlers. I've never ordered any hair curlers from them. Yeah, it's easy to order stuff when you're sitting at home. It's not like you're going out spending money, but you're spending money anyway. I've got so many hair colors now, different sizes, different types, and it's been ages since I've used any of them. Because working in the garden every day and doing stuff in the yard, I don't usually do anything with my hair but shampoo it and brush it out or color it once in a while. I hardly ever used a curling iron. My daughter used one all the time, but I always use the hot rollers. They work best for my hair for the style of, that I wore. But the way my hair is now after chemo and my hair growing back, it won't hold a set. It'll fall out and it'll go back to frizz like it is right now. It just don't hold a set anymore like it used to. I like wearing mine short, but my hair grows so fast I have to cut it all the time. And that's what I don't like. I don't want to have to get it cut all the time because I usually cut my own hair. And I get tired of trying to keep it trimmed up and cut. So I let it grow out. I've got the sponge ones as well, Grandma Teresa. I've got the sponge curlers. I've got the hard curlers. I've got the kind that kind of wrap and tie around. I don't know what you call them. Well, thank you, Donna. Oh no, you've been having bad hot flashes. Well, get you some Estroven off the counter at any of the drugstores. That's what I took. I never had hot flashes. I took it for a couple of years, and by the time I quit taking it, I was past all that. So I never had hot flashes at all. Oh, that would be addicting, Anne, just to order stuff for your little grandbaby. Now that would get me in trouble. So she's almost here, October. Well, see, I can't wear bangs because my bangs will curl up. Instead of staying straight, they'll flip up and do all kind of stuff. So usually I layer mine and I can comb my bangs kind of back and they flip out. I can't wear bangs straight down because they don't do that. My hair don't do bangs. You have 14 grandkids. Yeah, you couldn't start ordering from Temu. Oh my God. You need an 18 wheeler to deliver stuff when you order for 14. Yeah, I knew it was Montana or seemed like Oklahoma or Arizona or somewhere way out in the boonies. They have a community of Mormons. But I've watched videos on the life of Mormons and stuff. And the only problem with having so many wives, pretty soon they end up married to their own daughters, and that's sickening. Or you got brothers marrying sisters, and that's gross to me. Maybe it is Utah. I don't remember where, but I remembered a video they did on that. Life is a Mormon or something like that. And this one guy that was in this video, he had about 8 wives, and they all lived in mobile homes. And the mobile homes were just like parked in one area. The main house was kind of in the center. And he spent one night with each wife. You know, he'd rotate around. You had your night with your husband. 8 nights later, you'd have another night with him. That's kind of weird. Oh wow, Connie, that was neat. Buffalo check cashmere blanket. Polygamy, yeah. Right, Grandma Teresa? I don't want no part of that life. Some men can't put up with one wife. What are you going to do with 8 of them? Your dad wasn't a Mormon, just a sicko. Well, he'd go good with the Mormon lifestyle, put it that way. Yeah, maybe he didn't realize he could move to a Mormon community and he'd be accepted. It'd be perfectly normal for him to have 6 wives and children with each one. Only problem with that is then he'd have to take responsibility and take care and support all of them. Exactly. How can you love 6 other women? I mean, you always have to love one more than the other. I don't know. It's yeah, I watched one where they all did live in a big house and they all had different bedrooms and that and you know the kitchen, the laundry and all that was all community property for all of them. All the wives helped in with the cooking. They helped with cleaning everything up. They helped with cleaning house. All the wives helped with laundry. So no one wife had to do it all. They all pitched in and worked together. Gladys has new blood pressure pills and they're kicking my butt. So I got to go rest. Okay, Gladys. We're not going to be on here much longer anyway. We've been on here for almost 2 hours. Let's see. About another 8 or 10 minutes, or 8 or 9 minutes maybe, and then we'll call it a day. Yeah, I hope you feel better, Gladys. Your doctor may have to check your blood pressure pills. The ones he gave you may not agree with you. I can't tell I take a blood pressure pill except that my blood pressure's down. And I don't even really think I need to take them. Yeah, that's right. Utah, that's the Mormon city. Your space bar keeps sticking, I guess. My eyes have been burning today, and I've been putting drops in them for my allergies, but they're still bothering me. They tear up and they're burning, they itch. And it's just because I was outside yesterday, I guess. Hopefully, if it does rain Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, it'll settle down a lot of this pollen in the air, and my allergies won't bother me as quite as bad. I'm hoping because they've had a pollen. What do they call it? I guess the pollen alerts out because there's so much stuff in the air that everybody's allergic to. Who been hit with a switch? Not me. I've never been beat with a switch or a belt or anything. I've never had a spanking in my whole life. I never needed one. It's got to be certain women that can do that. I mean, you can be married to one man and have jealousy. Could you imagine the jealousy that goes around with 6 to 8 wives for one man? I can't imagine that. They'd have to just swallow their pride and keep going, I guess. Not a whole lot you can do about it. And when he cried about it, I walked out and said, "You can't have your life." And I just walked out. Hmm. Yeah, if I'm married to a guy and he's got other women out there on the side and I find it out, bye. That's too many for me. Let one do laundry, one cook, and one for sex. Yeah, but those 8 wives that this guy had weren't like that. Each one had their own night with their husband. So he had sex with all 8 of them. He did. He's got kids by all of them. Well, where is it? Is it Egypt? Where is it where they have harems of wives? That's the Mormon lifestyle, where one king or one person, one guy has all these multiple wives. He's got a whole harem of wives. Isn't that Egypt or somewhere? Where is that? That's just the Mormon lifestyle right there. Leftovers good for food only. You got that right, Jackie. I don't want to compete with 7 other wives. That's right, Connie. You always have to forgive stuff like that because then you can move on with your life. If you never forgive, you can't heal. You forgave him, so then you healed, and then you could go on with your life. I'm afraid of men nowadays. You don't know who you're getting. The last one I dated tried to kill me, and I only knew him for 5 weeks. And then 2 weeks after he tried to kill me, he went to Fort Worth and did the same to another woman, but he didn't succeed. And he ended up in jail for both of the attempts, or prison. That's why I ended up putting up security cameras. I got my whole yard covered with security cameras. And there's Stephanie. Hi there, Stephanie. Donna says, I divorced in 1998 and I stay single. I can't go there with anybody like that anymore. I mean, yeah. I was divorced in what, 1983? We moved here in 1978, divorced in 1983. And I've been single ever since. I tell everybody I'm a professional single person now. I've been single for 41 years, y'all. Most people aren't even that old. That entitles me to be a professional at being single. Anybody wants to know anything about single life, I can tell them. I can advise them. Yeah, I've gotten kind of used to being single and living by myself. That way I don't have to answer to nobody. If I feel like cooking, I will. If I don't, I don't. Nobody's going to gripe at me for not doing it. Well, I'm glad you could stop in, Stephanie. We've just been having a discussion about this, that, and everything else, whatever. I was married 10 years each time because I've been married twice, but each marriage lasted right at 10 years each time. And the few guys I dated before that one that tried to kill me, they were what I call pretty boys. They looked good, worked out in the gyms all the time, but they didn't work. They didn't make any money. They wanted a sugar mama to take care of them and pay their way. I got fed up with that. It would take an extra special guy for me to get involved with again because I've been burnt so many times. I'm very cautious. Yeah, I like my life too. No nurse with a purse. Exactly, Grandma Teresa. You're a free person. You can do what you want when you want to do it. And there's Debbie. Hi, Debbie. Egypt, I think Muslims do that. Yeah. I know they call them a harem, and I think it was Egypt where they did it. I don't think if I was married, my husband could build a house big enough for more than one wife. I think the other wife would disappear. Did I say that? Well, thank you, Stephanie. I love it too if I can ever get it finished. I've still got my bedroom and one bathroom and the kitchen and living room to do. Yeah, but that's bad keeping married relatives to keep blood in the family. That's what causes all these birth defects and stuff with kids when they are born. In North Carolina, you have to have blood tests before you can get a marriage license. And if they find that you're blood related, they will not marry you. I'd love to have some fried catfish, Wilson. That was centuries ago. I don't think in Texas you've got to have a blood test to get married. You can get a marriage license and get married without it. People just don't realize when they do, they're running the risk if they have children that their children are not going to be right. You know, they'll very likely be born with birth defects of some type. Right. What would they do if all the wives had a headache? Could you imagine 8 wives having headaches? Fried green tomatoes, that sounds good. Get another wife, one that don't have a headache. And I look around and I see so many children that have birth defects. And I've often wondered, are they from parents that were related, blood related and should never have gotten married? I know back home, my first husband, one of his cousins married his cousin, and they had to go to another state to get married because North Carolina would not marry them. But they never had children because they knew they would run the risk of having birth defects. So they never did have children. But they said they loved one another and they wanted to be married. So they gave up having children so they could be married. Been thinking about going live, Wilson. They call them girls. I think little buddy wants his dinner. I don't know if Amazon has delivered his food yet. Let me check out the back door and see if they've delivered anything. They usually put it on the patio table. I don't think they delivered any yet. No, I haven't put it on the back patio table or the front porch, though. Little buddy will have to wait a little bit. Maybe they'll bring it pretty soon. There's a YouTube channel that talks about incest family. Those people can't even talk normal. Yeah, it's a shame. because these kids are born with all these birth defects and they can't help what their parents did. Their parents knew better. They live back a holler somewhere. It's just not normal, no. Call the Whitakers. Let me get him some dry food and put it out there in their bowls because he's going to scratch that door. Little Lucky's probably ready for something to eat too. Come on. Where's your bowl? Okay. Come on. It's out here. It's out here. Little buddy. Little buddy says he's going to eat his in the house. Okay, there you go. I know what you want. You want treats. There you go. Little buddy come in the house so he could get some treats. I breathe that air out there. Oh, we need rain, y'all. Settle down all that dust and pollen. I can't even breathe outside. Well, if they do, they just started a blood test in Texas because they didn't used to do it. You could get a marriage license, get married without a blood test. Yeah, I mean, I know of people that have gotten married out here and they did not have to have a blood test. North Carolina does because my first husband and I went to South Carolina to get married. So we didn't have to go through the blood test. And then my second husband, we did the same thing. We didn't want to wait the 3 days. So we went to South Carolina and got married. You didn't have to have a blood test there. I mean, we were not related or anything, but we just didn't want to go through the process of getting a blood test. In Washington State, you do? Not in Missouri. Yeah, I'm in Texas now. In 1980, you had to. Well, like I say, they may have changed things now. I don't know. And I never asked my son when him and his wife got married if they had to have a blood test. I know he asked me for his birth certificate to get the license, but I never asked him if they had to get a blood test or not. And I never asked my daughter when she got married if she had to have one. I wasn't married here, so I don't know. But I always heard you did not have to get a blood test in Texas. I said, well, that answers it all. That's why so many kids here have birth defects, I guess. And there's Sheila McDaniel. Hello. I didn't know we were going to have one either. I just decided at the last minute to go live, and here we are. We've been on live for 2 hours now. Glad you could pop in. And we're still going to have the live tomorrow. Blood tests can give flash something. It's behind the heart. I can't read it. Flash test result sometimes. Oh, false. Blood tests can give false results sometimes. Yeah, they can. Y'all don't forget to hit the thumbs up. I thought maybe Kai and some of the other guys would pop in, but I guess he's busy. But we had Wilson and Lance that show up, so we had two guys in here so far. And there's Geraldine, married in 1968 in New York State, had to have a blood test. Yeah. And there's Cindy. Hey, Cindy. What's Cindy been up to? I know what you mean, Sheila. It was back up to 97 again today. But this coming week, it's supposed to be in the like the mid 80s, I think. And a chance of rain like Tuesday and Wednesday, hopefully. I heard you have had to have constantly now about a year or so before you get married in Texas. What, you have to have a blood test a year before you get married in Texas? Is that what you're saying, Diana? No, you hear the central air unit running. But if it's back in the 80s next week, oh, my plants are going to love it. They are going to absolutely love the cooler temperatures, especially if we get rain. And I need to get that raised bed greenhouse filled with dirt. I haven't done it yet. I just haven't had time to do it. East Texas, you did? Why, do you hear something in the background, Wilson? I don't know what you would hear. I don't have anything playing in the background. I had little buddy here behind me eating, chonking on his food. I don't know where he went. He's probably somewhere laying down right now. Do they still have you in that neck brace, Ann? I would assume so. If you can't hold your head up, they probably still have you in that neck brace. And Sheila said, I'm not hearing anything. You're watching all your Christmas shows, Connie? Well, I got my pumpkin yesterday. I went to Brookshire's and picked up a red onion and I came out with a big pumpkin. And I already had this, the leaves with the little pumpkins on it. And I already had my scarecrow boy or whatever you call him. I've had him for several years. So I just put that up there today when I decided I was going to go live. I figured that would make a good backdrop for autumn, which tomorrow's the first day of autumn. Thank you. I thought it looked kind of cute. The light is kind of harsh on it, but puts a glare on the boy's face, but not a whole lot I can do about it. I'd either have to put him in the dark or leave the light on. So, yeah, I like a lot of the old shows. My brother, one of my older brothers, he loves all the old time westerns, the John Wayne westerns and Roy Rogers and all of the real old ones. He said that's all the only thing he cares anything about when he watches TV. I don't know if his face would show up if better if he was further up toward the front or not. Ugh. I don't like the way the light is on him. His face almost disappears. Yeah, I don't think that's any better. I still got that glare from that light overhead. Well, thank you, Cindy. This shirt is probably 10 years old. I bought it back when the puff shirts were popular. I bought several different ones, probably 4 or 5 of them, because they're so comfortable and they look good. They were the thing back several years ago. There was you could get them out here for $5 a piece, whereas they tell you one size fits all. I just decided to go live. That's all, Shelley. I've been in the house all day because it's been too hot to do anything outside. Because I spent yesterday outside helping them cut the tree limbs and moving them around to the fire pit. And I will burn them one night, and I'll probably video that when I burn the tree limbs. But it's not going to be tonight. I was so wore out today just for being so hot and sweaty yesterday, messing with all that stuff that it just wiped me out today. I have no energy to do anything. So I just been laying around taking it easy. And I did video it. So I edited a video. It's not a fantastic video, but you can see what we were doing. And I had Cody and his wife come over and they were helping me cut those tree limbs and stuff right on the road front because they were growing almost to the pavement. Thank you, Shelley. I've got the link up at the top of the chat for anybody that wants to get on screen with me, but nobody wanted to get up here with me. Well, it's just been too hot. 97 is too hot to do much in the yard, especially if you're going to be in the sun. In the shade, it's a little better, but it's still hot. And it has to be a year while they. I have no idea, Claire. And welcome to our chat. I didn't see your name in here earlier. Shelley just came in from watering. Yep, that's just Wilson. In his signature style, apparently. Yeah. Do I watch Me TV or Met TV? No, I don't think so. Yeah, Anne showed up. She surprised me. She popped in the live a little earlier. They have to go through a year of counseling. Well, what's everybody's plans for this evening? Or maybe you don't have any plans. I didn't. That's why I went live. No, I haven't seen the movie Reagan. You like the videos of my cats? Yeah, they know they're movie stars. You just spent time with the neighbor. She fixed beans. Oh, that sounds good, Cindy. I bought pork chops yesterday and I was going to fix them today, but then I decided I just didn't want to cook. I'll probably fix them tomorrow and maybe make a video on it. Well, that's nice, Grandma Teresa. You share your meals. Just play some games off your computer. Mhm. That's me. I got so hot and sweaty yesterday, it wore me out. So I was a couch potato today. I did upload my video and I edited it. Then I uploaded it to YouTube and I may post it tomorrow morning. I don't know. Probably. Well, I'll probably go ahead and cook my pork chops tomorrow since I just bought them. I didn't want to freeze them, so I may cook them tomorrow. I don't haven't decided yet how I want to cook them. I may just throw them on the grill. I don't know. But they're the big pork chops. I think there's two great big ones of the cut. Cabbage and noodles. And there's April, my lady, from Hawaii. What is it, mid-afternoon for you, April? I've never heard of cabbage, or did she say cabbage and noodles? That's kind of an odd combination. Well, I don't think we got a burn ban going on, so I think I'm safe. I just didn't feel up to messing with it tonight. 5 till 5 where Cindy's at. It's 5 till 8 here. So I'm 3 hours ahead of you. Thank you, Shelley. I went to the store yesterday to get a red onion and I came out with a great big pumpkin. That's why it's on my counter. It's 9 where Betty Blue is, 6 where Connie is. Yeah, you need to try it on the stovetop, Lance. It comes out pretty good. I actually like my cornbread better when I put it in the pan on the stove rather than bake it because I like the crunchy outside of the cornbread when I put it, put it in a pan. 6 p.m. in Arizona. 8 p.m. in Texas. You got that right, Diana. Fried corn cakes. I could eat a fried corn cake if I had one in front of me right now. I'm starting to get a little hungry. I guess my chili beans are gone from lunch today. I've been thinking about frying me a little piece of sausage and making me a sandwich with it, put it on a hamburger bun, and I might throw an egg in there too. I don't know. Well, I did chili. It was beans and chili, the mixed chili with beans. And then I ate some crackers with it, saltine crackers. Guess I'll have a ham sandwich. Yeah, I keep forgetting I've got this pound of sausage in my refrigerator, so I need to start cooking it. I'll either have to cook it or freeze it. Either one, as long as you call me for dinner. Who won trivia? I think it was Patty C. And I got her bracelet mailed out to her yesterday. Everyone says it's too hot for chili around here. Well, when you keep it kind of cool in your house and you don't go out in the heat, it's not too hot for chili. When all I do is heat it up, I didn't have to cook it. All I did was open the can and heat it up in a bowl. I popped it right in the microwave. That's okay, Cindy. We all have other things that we need to do, so we all understand that. I'm getting ready for bed church tomorrow. Yeah, we've been on here for 2.5 hours. I guess I should let you ladies go. But I enjoy chatting with everybody. Leaving tomorrow for second surgery on Monday. Well, we'll be praying for you, Cindy. Hope everything goes well. Or your son's surgery on Monday. We'll be praying for your son, hoping everything goes well and for a speedy recovery. Yes, Gladys was on the whole time except for a few minutes ago. And she said that the doctor put her on some new blood pressure pills. So she had to rest. So she got off out of chat so she could rest some. But I'm going to let y'all go. I know we've been on here for 2.5 hours. That's long enough to keep y'all. I don't want to keep you all night, but I just love chatting with everybody. I really do. So all of you have a blessed night. Have a blessed day tomorrow, and I'll see you tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Central Time. My message did a double message when I said I was going to bed at church tomorrow. It did a second one. How did I don't know. Good night, everybody. Hugs and kisses to you too, April. Love everyone. Y'all have a blessed night. See you tomorrow. Bye now.